Congressman Markwayne Mullin is on the House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee, and he joins us tonight. Sir, thank you for coming on. How fast do you think we could bankrupt this war if our leaders weren't effectively owned by green special interests?
Immediately. We could immediately stop this, and Russia would run out of money, and they would tank if we would simply stop the importing of Russia oil and gas and petroleum. Because remember, it's petroleum too. We import more petroleum than we actually do crude, at a cost of last year is $17.5 billion. Now, you remember, Russia's economy is the size of Italy, and the ruble is junk. So it's not like they have a lot of reserve. But Putin understood that we were going to go after sanctions, but he also understood that every economy around the country right now, especially through Europe and the United States, is depending on their energy, because energy is the backbone of every economy. Without reliable and affordable energy, you can't have a strong economy. And so he's taken a calculated risk by going into Ukraine by saying, fine, sanction me now, but if you allow me to get hold of Ukraine's natural resources, I would control the two major pipelines that's running into Europe with natural gas. One they've already blown up, which was going out of Ukraine. The other one they still have. The third one they're trying to build, obviously, into Germany. But once they control it, then he controls their economy. He's going to just say, hey, you're going to pay me more to repay back the war that I've already won anyways because you were too passive and risk adverse to get involved.
If Russian energy was entirely banned, if we had sensible people in charge and we cut Russia off completely, I know we don't need it at all. I don't know why we still buy. Why we buy this little bit that we buy from Russia every day makes no sense, and nobody will give a straight answer as to why we don't stop. But if Europe, I understand, is more of a problem, but could we still power Europe? Are there different resources? Do we have enough? Is there enough in Saudi Arabia? Is there enough in Canada that we could take the place of Russia, and how fast would it be to make that transition happen?
Absolutely, we could. And Russia is very dependent, obviously, on the world market, too. So we take them off the world market. We increase exports of LNG. We open our terminals that Biden's administration has shut down of LNG and go back. We were feeding 33 countries with LNG. We can easily do that, and we were doing it in an efficient manner, but we also have been discussing for a long time about building a pipeline across the Atlantic, and don't act like that's not a surprise. There's actually pipelines that already run across the Atlantic with a pipeline going there with natural gas. We have an abundant amount of natural gas here that we could easily supply most, if not all, of Europe with liquefied natural gas through just exporting it to them. Now, it would take a little bit longer to stand up, but we already had 33 terminals to which we could take it to. But we could put enough pressure on Russia alone to say, hey, we're not the only game in town. The reason why he's an opportunist, Putin is an opportunist. He understands we have a weak leader, and then the policies that came in place when he says we're going to eliminate our fossil fuels inside the United States by 2050, the target was 2035, and started canceling permits and started closing down export terminals. What Putin said is, wait a second, you guys don't have anybody else anymore, because you were getting LNG from the United States. Now you don't. What people are forgetting here is United States energy independence brings on global stabilization. And what I mean by that is you have Saudi Arabia and you have Russia that's supplying the country, and each one of them have an eye on your resources in your country if they can get in there. We just simply want to do business with you. So countries want to do business with a country that they can trust. And countries know that they can trust us when they do business with us. We're not trying to steal their intellectual property.
It's something else. I mean, if there's nothing else that people take out of this show, it is the simple fact that this doesn't have to happen. That this energy does not need to be bought, especially the energy in this country. The $75 million we're going to send to Russia tomorrow is a payment that we will make to Russia for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and nobody in your government will give you an explanation as to why we're doing it, and that's what's so scary. Congressman,
and Robin, your passion and your frustration about this, I think, speaks volume for the American people when they hear the facts about it. And I love the fact that you're talking about how much we're spending with Russia and funding this war that we don't have to. The Keystone Pipeline, keep in mind, would have been sending 850,000 barrels per day into the United States. More than offset what we're getting from Russia.
More than offset it, yeah. Congressman, thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to see you.